You know, we often think of progress as this slow, steady thing. But what if a single day could change everything for AI? That's what we're digging into. One pivotal day that just blew the lid off the future of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I know. It sounds super dramatic, right? But honestly, sometimes progress isn't a gentle slope. Sometimes it's a cliff. A single 24-hour period can act like a flashbulb, suddenly illuminating a future that, well, it's not coming anymore. It's already here.
And for AI, that day was October 21st, 2025. What's so wild is that on this day, you had all these things happening at once. Stuff in boardrooms, deep inside data centers, in the halls of government. And they all seem separate. But when you look at them together, they paint this incredibly clear picture of where AI is headed. So let's break it down. All right, first up, the offensive. This is where things got real. On this day, we saw AI make a massive leap from AI that thinks or writes to AI that actually does stuff. We're talking about a shift from a world of kind of passive tools to a world of active, autonomous agents. So you're probably asking, what the heck is agentic AI? Well, think about it like this. Right now, you might ask an AI, hey, can you write me an email to a hotel to ask about their prices? But with agentic AI, you just say, find and book me the best hotel in Paris for these dates and keep it under my budget. See the difference? One responds to a prompt. The other executes a multi-step task in the real world. That is a huge leap. And that's really the heart of it. Generative AI, the stuff we've all been playing with, is an amazing content creator. It's a super smart tool. But agentic AI, it takes action. It's not a tool. It's more like an assistant. And believe me, this isn't just a minor upgrade like getting a new phone. This is a whole different ballgame. So, who fired the first shot in this new agentic war? None other than OpenAI. And they did not pull any punches. They launched a whole web browser called Atlas and aimed it like a missile right at the heart of Google's empire, its total dominance as the gateway to the internet. And Atlas was packed with cool features, sure, like a dedicated AI sidebar on any page, cursor chat for editing text right there, but the absolute game changer, the killer app, was agent mode. You flip that on, and suddenly your browser isn't just a window you look through. Oh no, it becomes your personal operator. It's out there making purchases for you, booking your travel, filling out those awful complicated forms, all on its own. And you better believe Wall Street noticed. The reaction was, well, it was instant and brutal. Over $150 billion was wiped off Alphabet's market value in one day. This wasn't just another cool product. This was a direct assault on the search ad model, the very engine that's been funding Google and, frankly, most of the internet for the last 20 years. But okay, this whole agent revolution, it wasn't just about what you and I were doing on our home computers. Nope. On the exact same day, the corporate world got its own bombshell. Salesforce stepped onto the stage and unveiled how agents were going to completely change the world of business with their new platform, Agentforce. And their strategy here is just brilliant and kind of sneaky. They're using these new AI agents as a Trojan horse. They offer agents that can automate super complex stuff, think inventory management or high-level customer support. And by doing that, they can connect their massive trove of customer data into totally new business areas, like supply chain logistics. It's a clever way to go after giants like SAP and Oracle, not head-on, but from a completely unexpected direction. Okay, so we have all this mind-blowing software, these new AI agents changing everything. But what powers it? It's not magic. It runs on a very real, very physical foundation of silicon and a ton of electricity. And the sheer scale of that foundation, honestly, it's becoming hard to even wrap your head around. How about this number? $27 billion. That's not a typo. That was the price tag for one single data center project announced on this day. A partnership between Meta and a firm called Blue Owl Capital. Think about that. It's a number so colossal that even a company as massive as Meta didn't want to foot the bill alone. And the way they structured the deal was pretty wild too. Blue Owl basically put up 80% of the cash. This let Meta fund this monster expansion off balance sheet, which is financial speak for without spooking our investors. This wasn't just any deal. It was the largest private credit transaction in history. And what it tells us is that AI infrastructure is now its own asset class, like real estate or gold, for the biggest players in finance. But here's the fundamental problem.
right? You can print money. You can't print electricity. All that capital is slamming up against the very real physical limits of our power grids. So this insane demand for energy is forcing a whole new kind of innovation. We don't just need more powerful chips anymore. We desperately need more efficient ones.
And that's where you see players like Accelerus stepping up. Their new chip, Europa, is all about one thing: getting the most AI bang for every single watt of electricity. It's a direct answer to that energy crisis. But there's another layer here. This is also part of Europe's big push for what they're calling sovereign AI. Basically, they want to build their own chips and their own hardware so they're not dependent on the US or China. It's about technological independence. And this all leads to a really powerful and, frankly, kind of chilling metaphor. This whole fight over computer chips, it's not just a business competition anymore. It's pure geopolitics. A silicon curtain, like the old Iron Curtain, is falling, and it's literally splitting the global tech world in two. And if you want to see what that looks like in the real world, just look at this chart. It's staggering. Because of US export controls, NVIDIA, the king of AI chips, saw its market share for high-end chips in China go from 95% down to basically zero. This isn't just a simple trade squabble. This is the deliberate creation of two separate, non-compatible tech universes. Okay, so let's recap. We've got AI that can act on its own, costs that are astronomical, and a new silicon curtain dividing the world. The logical question is, how did governments react to all this chaos? Well, pretty much how you'd expect, with a messy, contradictory scramble to try and get some control. And on this single day, you saw the two polar opposite reactions. On one hand, you had this group of scientists and celebrities basically hitting the panic button, calling for a complete and total ban on developing superintelligence. And on the other hand, you had the state of California passing an actual law, a pragmatic one, trying to find a middle ground by putting specific rules on only the most powerful AI models. Total ban versus targeted rules. Two totally different worlds. And if you zoom out even further, you see this split happening globally. We're ending up with a tripolar world for AI rules. You've got the United States, which is kind of the Wild West, a messy patchwork of state laws. Then you've got the European Union, which is all about protecting human rights. And then you have China, with its top-down, state-controlled approach. So if you're an AI company, good luck. You now have to operate in three totally different, often conflicting regulatory universes. So what's the takeaway from all this? What did this one chaotic day actually teach us about the future of AI? Well, it boils down to three huge fundamental tensions that are going to define everything that comes next. First tension: capital versus kilowatts. It's a battle between the virtual and the physical. Wall Street is ready to throw literally endless amounts of money at AI, but all that digital capital is crashing into the hard physical reality of our energy grids. There's only so much power to go around. Second tension: speed versus safety. Think of it like a rocket ship taking off while the people who are supposed to build the launch pad are still reading the instruction manual. The commercial race to get these AI agents out into the world is moving at a breakneck speed, and our laws and safety regulations are just being left in the dust. And the third and final tension: openness versus control. The entire field of AI was built on this culture of open research, of sharing ideas across borders. But now, that collaborative spirit is colliding head-on with governments demanding control for national security reasons. It's pulling the whole thing apart, forcing it into closed-off, competing camps. And all of this, all these tensions, they lead us to one final, really big question. As we start handing over the keys, so to speak, as these AI agents begin to act for us, to make decisions on our behalf, who's really in control? That's the question that October 21st, 2025 slammed down on the table. And honestly, it's a question we still don't have a good answer for.